We're here with Chelsea Mandello, founder and CEO of Troopster. Chelsea, thanks for coming in the studio today.
Thanks so much, Chris. I'm really excited to be here.
So you've started Troopster a little over, I want to say, 2 years ago now. Is that, or am I wrong?
Well, it's been 3. I'll be moving into my 4th year in November.
Okay, and what an eventful 4 years it's been, especially in the last 2 months, right?
Truly, yes, this has been a great year for Troopster. I just got out of the military in May, and I really hit the ground running as far as that.
So you launched the company and were managing it for 2.5 or 3 years while you were still active duty, right?
Yes, yeah.
How was that? How did you possibly do that?
It was challenging,
Yeah.
certainly. I had a lot of long nights where I stood watch for 24 hours, and then I had to run home and be sleep exhausted while still packing care packages.
Right. Well, before we get too far, let's talk a bit about what Troopster is. How do you describe Troopster to people you meet?
Troopster is a military care package service in which friends and family members can send a personalized care package directly to someone they know overseas, or if you don't know anyone, you can still adopt a troop and send a care package over to a troop who needs something.
Very well put. So what? Let's go into the value proposition a little bit. I certainly could mail a thing to somebody. What is it about Troopster that's making this a lot easier or better, cheaper, or faster for the customer?
Well, really, it's all of those things. Everything is moving online. So for family members who have someone who's deployed, rather than them having to run around town, trying to find a post office, spending time trying to find the products, they can just do it really quickly online with a click. They can pick the items, or we also make pre-built care packages for them. They can select them, send them overseas, and actually it ends up being cheaper if they go through us because we do bulk shipping rates with the Postal Service.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Makes
it saves them
sense.
a lot of money as well.
And customs?
Yes, yes, and the hassle with customs forms.
Yeah.
If you haven't had the wonderful experience, they can be very tedious.
Yeah, I
And if
recently sent a Christmas package to some family in Germany, not military, and it was an atrocious ordeal.
Yes, exactly. And you don't have to do that at all when you go through Troopster.
That's awesome. So you're the founder and CEO. Are there any other key members of your team?
I do, yes. So I also have an outreach officer. His name is Chip. He actually just came on with Troopster back in January. So he does all of our outreach as far as donations, finding individuals who want to sponsor. We do monthly packing events in which we send out hundreds of care packages. We work with the community, and we send out these packs to troops who don't have families, so they don't have anyone taking care of them. And we really are that kind of guiding light that helps them out through their deployment. But then I also have my one employee, Jessie, and she is a superstar. She is my fulfillment person. She handles all of the care package orders, so the personalized packs from moms, dads, spouses. Jessie is the one who's on top of fulfillment.
Wow. So 3 people now.
Yeah.
3. And lots of volunteers. I know you guys
Lots
do
of
a
volunteers.
lot of, you call them packing parties, right?
Yes, yeah.
So that's great. What is it about Troopster that's different from some of the other competitors in the market, and not only in the military care pack market, but also, I'm guessing there's lots of similar services for colleges and stuff like that. What makes Troopster different?
Well, there certainly are care package options for college students. That's why our main niche is for military service members. And what makes us pretty much a big deal compared to the competitors is that we offer a lot more products. We offer more personalization options. More than 60 of the pre-built care packages can then be personalized with photos, letters. They can add apparel, video games, movies.
Wow.
A full array, upload photos, really personalize the letters in detail. And then we also have the adoption service. So it's a full-scale service that really hits every wicket of the military, and that's something that you really don't find anywhere else.
Yeah, and this came, as I understand, this whole thing came from your own experiences being deployed. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, yes. So I served 7 years in the United States Navy as a photojournalist. And with the military, I served across 13 countries, 9 different ships. I really got to see the versatility of the military. And it was with those experiences that I saw the need for care packages. In 2013, I was on my 7th ship, and we were doing anti-piracy operations in the Mediterranean. And by the time I received a care package from my mom, I opened it up, I was really excited about it, and then my heart sank because everything in it had gone bad. It was filled
Ouch.
with, oh my gosh, it was filled with baked goods and chocolates, and just everything was ruined. And you know, I call that my heartbreak in a box. And I wasn't the only one who was getting these types of care packages. So I started Troopster to make that pain point better.
So that's usually an excellent place to begin the journey of building a startup, is from especially personal experience and having that problem. But not only did you have it, you saw a shipload of comrades who were also experiencing it. But conversely, some who weren't experiencing it at all because they didn't have, necessarily friends or family to send them stuff. So I really love how you're hitting, both of those pretty major pain points. I've never been deployed myself, but I can't imagine how heart-wrenching of an experience it is to be away for so long, and then get packages and you're super excited, and only to find melted chocolate and expired goods. So
Right.
Way to go, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Let's shift gears a little bit. What your background experience? You just touched on it. Photojournalism for 7 years in the Navy. I'm guessing there was a graphic design component to that, and a lot of that has helped you as you've built Troopster.
Yes, so I graduated. I actually have my degree in advertising, and I graduated from school in 2011 and immediately joined the military.
Yeah.
So I already had this experience of building campaign books and developing campaign ideas for companies. And then when I went into the military, because of my affinity for design, the Navy actually sent me to school for illustration to be a graphic
Cool.
designer. Yeah, so on top of my previous ad experience, I was also given more experience by learning web design and graphic design and illustration.
Yeah, and
So-
it certainly shows. You've got a beautiful website.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's helped me out a lot as far as branding and really making it aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, you mentioned Chip. Is he a co-founder?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Chip is someone who was interested in investing, but now that we're actually pivoting to being a full nonprofit, Chip is working as the outreach officer.
Okay, cool. So I'd met Chip a few months back, and we were talking about all the SEO and Adwords, and that was something you had touched on and were doing a little bit of, but I really admired the way that he had just dove right in, and you guys learned a lot from that. Can you tell us how much has taken a deeper look into AdWords and really trying to tailor it to Troopster and find out what are people searching for in this market, and how much has that skyrocketed you guys over the past few months?
Yeah, it really was a game changer. Getting into Google AdWords and really learning about SEO helps you discover what exactly your customer base is thinking. So our experience was just that it would be care packages, military care packages, or some word form similar to that. Really, we ended up discovering that it was an array of boyfriend packs, boyfriend deployments, but yes, it was
Okay.
variations that we hadn't even considered.
Right.
So diving more into that, we were able to really tailor a lot of the pages, the blogs, really harboring on not just a keyword, but keyword phrases.
Right.
which is really where the SEO line is going now, where it's not Google Analytics and the Google algorithms aren't focusing on one keyword, they're focusing on a string. So you have to tailor it along that string if you really want to be effective. And it had a big impact. We went from page 99 to page 1.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really
and
helped.
what you're also touching on there, and I just want to hit on this point, is the need to test your assumptions in your business model, right? Here you are assuming that your customers, or at least who you think or want your customers to be, are looking for military care packages. What is certainly what I would think too. But after you tested that assumption and let the data speak for itself, you found that that wasn't quite the case. And it's super important for startups to understand is that you're coming to this picture with so many assumptions you don't even realize are assumptions. And so you've got to kind of take an introspective look, lean startup approach, customer discovery, all these terms and sort of the modern method of pursuing a startup opportunity. It's just very critical to test assumptions. The earlier you do that, the better. So are there other assumptions that you've made and then subsequently found were wrong or had to pivot?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I'm really glad you mentioned the lean startup. That is always one of the reads that I recommend to people. And also it kind of works in tandem with advice that I always give entrepreneurs is don't be so in love with your own idea that you aren't willing to pivot and change.
Right.
When I first launched, Troopster was just a site filled with non-perishable products. It was 400 items where you could just pick these items and then we would make the care packs for you. But it was overwhelming. A lot of the customers would come to it, they'd click a few items, but there were so many pages and so many options that they didn't want to go through all of them. So they ended up just bouncing. So I initially then had to pivot. I created a few pre-made care packages, and those were more popular because it was easier. I mean, it was just so much easier for them to click those and then add a few items rather than trying to find more. But they were still a little out of the price range. I overfilled them. There were so many options in them, but because they were, from $30 to $50, they were too expensive. So when I pulled that down and made them more closer to $15, between $15 and $29, that was really the pivot that made the difference.
Right. So understanding your customer, right, was critical in that. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
And keeping in touch with your customers. I had one main customer who I talked with religiously, asking her what she liked, what she didn't like, what would she rather see. Didn't know her, still don't really know her other than she was my main customer who would help me through these things. So getting her insights really made the site what it is today.
Yeah. And, I think that is also an important point, that it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody you're close to or who can be your greatest ambassador. I'm guessing this person probably just had a sincere appreciation for what you're trying to accomplish as a company and the value you're delivering to your customers and ultimately to military personnel, that you can really lean on somebody like that and collect a lot of information, that they're a customer that you just couldn't necessarily ask anybody on the street, and getting that data is going to be critical. The price point, how the customer wants to buy it, what is frustrating about your current MVP or product, that you can change up. So kudos to you for continually iterating, right? And you're still iterating, right?
Oh, yes.
Are there any other more recent pivots?
Yes. So I initially had it. Troopster is just a for-profit, and then about a year and a half into that, I started a nonprofit. So I was working these two entities, and now it's really, I'm really excited to say this, and it's very relieving, but Troopster is becoming all a nonprofit. So we're still offering the personalized care packs where moms and dads can send care packs to their loved ones overseas. But instead of what would normally be a profit margin is actually a donation margin. So once it covers the overhead costs of keeping the lights on, then we're able to put that back toward adopting troops and sending care packs out to troops.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Congratulations on that one. So you were in the Navy for 7 years, and now you're not. As of May, you're an entrepreneur. You're a startup founder. Can you tell us a little bit about how that transition, what led to that transition, and what has shaped you sort of along the way to becoming the entrepreneur you are today?
Yes, being in the military really was, it really was a testament of what I wanted to do as far as running Troopster, because I wasn't just having this secondary job, this secondary full-time job. I had this obligation that could call me at a moment's notice and I would have to fly somewhere, or I would have to be in another country, and I would have to do other things while still running this business. So it really tested my resilience to keep Troopster running. And I think that whether you're in the military or not, if you're an entrepreneur, you face something similar to that, because you're going to have those moments where someone's going to tell you you shouldn't do this, and someone's going to tell you this is really hard, you should probably get another job instead. We've all had those moments as entrepreneurs, and they help, those moments, even though they're very difficult, they really help you to grow and to become somebody who doesn't take no for an answer, who says that I can do this, and who creates something, a dream that you can build upon.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
So 757 Accelerate, you're about halfway through the program. Tell us what originally led you to apply and ultimately join this cohort.
Well, while I was in the military, I knew what my end date was. I knew it was going to be May of 2018. And so I was already looking for, while I was in the military, the next step, something that would really help me to engage Troopster more and to take it to the next level. And so initially I had been looking at Lighthouse Labs and some other ones that were in the area. And then I heard rumblings that there was going to be Accelerator in Norfolk. So I kept my eye out for that, and it just happened to line up perfectly that when I got out of the military, as I'm trying to push Troopster forward, the Accelerator popped up.
Yeah. And so you had previously pitched at 757 pitch, right? And you won that competition. Did that in some way help prepare you for what was, from what I understand, a pretty rigorous application process, and then vetting in front of some pretty high caliber judges and VC types. So did that experience help you?
Oh yes, the 757 pitch really did help prepare me for the 757 Accelerator pitch. It prepared me in the facets of looking at my numbers, of having the amount of customers, my sales, my revenue, what my break-even point was, all of those normal numbers that you would see get asked on from investor standpoints. So I was able to have all of that prepared, and it really also helped me as far as nerves with then pitching for the Accelerator, because I have a temperament of where I over practice. I want to practice and know every single thing for it, and going through the 757 pitch really did help me become more comfortable.
Held your hand to the fire. And before that, I'm guessing you did 1 million cups at one point?
I did, yes.
Okay. And so what we see there is this stepwise process that you're getting practice. You're joining or signing up to do things that are sort of moving the needle one step at a time and getting you more and more prepared and iron out more and more kinks in not only your business model, but certainly the way that you present it, which whether you believe it or not, if you want to grow this thing, whether it's to customers or venture capital or bankers even, you've got to articulate pretty precisely and certainly persuasively, right, at each step. And so going to those things early on, 1 million cups is free and fairly easy, as it's supposed to be, fairly easy to get in front of that audience. 757 pitch is a little more rigorous of a process. And then, of course, once you're going up to accelerator, that's giving you or offering $20,000 in non-dilutive funding, as it should be. It's very rigorous, right? So preparing yourself along the way has been pretty important.
Yes, certainly, and Hampton Roads especially has been very good at supporting startups and entrepreneurs, and the whole community in general has helped me between 1 million cups, 757 pitch, and then finally 757 accelerator.
Yeah. And so now that you're halfway through, what sorts of things have you learned? What have you learned that you could be doing better? And beyond what we talked about earlier with the pivots, are there any big wins that has come out of your participation in the program?
Well, thanks to the program, I was really able to make the pivot of turning Troopster into the full nonprofit. Initially, I had never really considered that. I was trying to just go about it this very difficult way, and having experienced leaders and mentors who had been through the pitfalls already of business and who were generously donating their time to the accelerator, they were able to take a look at my business, tell me what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, and it's been instrumental. It's also helped me to gain a little bit more confidence, and in reaching out to the community. And a really big win that I'm very happy to announce is I was the winner of the Microsoft Empower Possibility. So Microsoft, thank you. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's an awesome win. Microsoft is supporting Troopster in that they are donating $10,000. They have completely updated our equipment. So all of our office computers, laptops, just the full scale, because they believe in the mission of Troopster, and it's just been phenomenal.
And so I've been following that as it developed on your social media. This Microsoft team came to town under the auspices of filming a documentary, right? They
had told me that I was one of 4 other finalists and that we were all getting a documentary. And I didn't in any way think that was weird. And so they followed me for 2 days, and at the end of the second day, they surprised me as having actually been the winner of the Empower Possibility.
That's incredible. Yeah, congratulations. That is a big win. So let's wrap this up. I've got just a couple more questions. The first, I think I know the answer to. How can we, as a community in Hampton Roads, help you and Troopster move the needle?
Well, first, as I said, this is a phenomenal community who has already supported me in so many ways through resources and the accelerator and the programs here. But I would love to work further with the community in getting the name Troopster out there and turning Troopster into a household name. We are currently working on collecting snack donations and items to send out more care packages to troops who are deployed for Christmas. And taking Troopster to the next level by making those connections with Frito-Lay, USAA, even the USO would really be beneficial.
Okay, so potential partner connections. You'll need volunteers.
Always.
Certainly sales would be helpful, Troopster.org. Save yourself some time and some money, especially if you have loved ones serving abroad. Troopster.org, send them their care packages and just overall general support of the startup community. So let's reciprocate. Can you share with our audience any books or like podcasts that have been helpful to you?
As I mentioned earlier, The Lean Startup is certainly one that I would recommend every entrepreneur read.
By Eric Ries?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I think I recommended
I
that
think
to
you
you
might
2 years
have.
ago.
Yeah.
No, that's
Thank you, Chris.
the entrepreneurship MBA program that that I went through. That was a textbook, and has sort of become a Bible in a way, and the first resource that I'll share with entrepreneurs of all sorts. If they haven't read it yet, it's great, excellent, totally
absolutely.
agree.
As far as podcasts, a favorite of mine is NPR's How I Built This. If you're familiar.
Yes, we discussed that one with another guest.
Yes. Yeah, Guy Raz does an amazing job, and he brings on entrepreneurs that you haven't quite heard of their business yet, all the way up to well-known businesses such as the founders of Home Depot. Kate Spade was on there, just really big names.
Ben and Jerry's.
Method. Yes, yeah. Really
lots
good
of
ones.
them. I've gotten a lot of great
RX
insights
bars.
from that.
I think the RX
Larabar.
bar is one of my favorites.
You think so?
I do.
I like that one. And Larabar too. Her story, starting in her kitchen and having so much trouble with packaging and all these things.
That's what I love.
You really, and I've seen it with you and most entrepreneurs that you follow over time, because taking a snapshot doesn't do justice of seeing the iteration and the learning and the challenges. And, in the businesses I've started too, packaging seems so simple, right? With you were just talking about the number of, bar of candies that you have in a package. And like you would think, as any old Joe Schmo, that, you just put, I don't know, about 10. That sounds good, right? See how that works. And you find out that you couldn't have been more wrong, right? So just the simplest thing that you think would take no time at all to accomplish or to figure out, it's not quite that easy.
Right. And I love that every story you listen to of all of these giants, they all started from such humble beginnings, from working in their garage or working out of their living room. I mean, all of them have this struggle. And I love that because it humanizes this aspect of business. And I think that's also very important in the entrepreneur world.
Yeah, it sure is. Chelsea, thank you. Thanks for coming in and sharing a bit about your story. As with all of our guests, I look forward to following up with you after the program and seeing how the rest of it went. So, thanks again and great best of luck to you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.